At this time, I'll call to order the City of Joliet Council meeting for August 15, 2023. The Mayor Terry Darcy presiding. We'll begin the meeting with a convocation and prayer from Pastor Viotis Isom from Christ Temple Apostolic Faith Church at 212 Richard Street, after which Pastor Isom will lead us in the pledge, please.
Hallelujah. Father, in the name of the Lord Jesus, we thank you, oh God, that you've allowed us to come together once again. God, we ask you, Lord, for your direction, Lord, in this meeting, Lord God, and even into the practices of what's going on in this city. Father, we ask you, Lord, to guide every councilman and councilwoman right now, that we be on one accord, though, that their mind and everything will think about others, not just of themselves. Now, Father, direct us right now. Give us understanding, Lord, for the policies that will help your people. Now, God, in the name of the Lord Jesus, we ask you, Lord, to direct, our mayor right now. Touch his mind, give him the articulation of thought, give him precision of lips, oh God, that he'll be able to speak that which is calming to this group, and God, that he brings everybody into one union. Now, Father, we thank you right now because you're the God who deals with wholeness, and you're able, Lord, to build this city up. And Father, we ask you, Lord, to let this be a new beginning, Lord, for everything that's happening, oh God, that we move forward. Now, Father, we thank you, Lord, for, Lord, doing these things in the name of the Lord Jesus. In Jesus' name, everybody said,
Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll begin with roll call. Mayor Darcy.
Here.
Councilman Cardenas.
Here.
Councilman Clement.
Here.
Councilman Guerrero.
Here.
Councilman Hug.
here.
Councilwoman Ibarra.
Here.
Councilman Mudron.
Here.
Councilwoman Quillman.
Here.
Councilwoman Reardon.
Here.
First this evening is the approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda as written with the following changes? Remove from consent agenda invoices to be paid. This will be voted on separately. And remove from the agenda in its entirety, Council Memo 430-23, an ordinance amending Chapter 19, Article 4, Section 19-266, offenses subjecting a vehicle to impoundment, adding authority to tow vehicles for no insurance and tinted windows.
So moved.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Cardenas.
Aye.
Councilman Clement.
Aye.
Councilman Guerrero.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ibarra.
Aye.
Councilman Mudron.
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman.
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon.
Aye.
Mayor Darcy.
Aye.
Next is citizens to be heard on agenda items. First is Stephen Tolles, Council Memo 428-23.
Can I remind everybody that's going to speak on agenda items that we please keep it to 4 minutes? Thank you.
I live in a subdivision where this gas station is going to be built across the street from it. There's a couple items here that I'd like to discuss as far as our concerns. One, as I stated last night, we are not in a gas station desert. This truck stop being built there is not going to alleviate any issues or, waiting in line for a gas pump. A couple of our concerns are, especially if you're relatively close to this, is, imagine sitting in your front living room in the constant beam at night, the darker hours, you got headlights shining in there, or the cars breaking it up, causing shadows. Same thing for your backyard. The noise from the engines, the noise from the people standing outside playing their music. They don't have any type of emergency plan in case something does fail, even though they say it's a 100% guarantee. I'm trying to rattle through all this as quickly as I can for a minute, so sorry if it seems a little unorganized. But also the property values. They state property values don't go down, but you find it hard to believe who wants to live next to a truck stop. Also, as far as the litter, also the engines turning off, turning on 2,200 times a day. Also, we understand something has to be built there eventually, but you have one time to do this and one time to do it right. When it comes to the tax revenue, which he's going to talk about, because where he's located, he's literally in between a half mile of two other bookend fueling stations. All he's gonna do is water down what you're already getting. And also, most of our community are elderly. I would say over 50% of the people where I live are retired, such as the nice couple yesterday. They deserve to live in their oasis, which they've worked for all their lives, to live peacefully. This is going to be a nuisance regarding the noise, regarding the lighting, the traffic. It's a bear to get out there now. Sometimes making a left-hand turn can take you 5 minutes. Also with the semis there, we have very, very little semi-traffic there now. With this being a truck stop, it's going to draw the semis there. They're going to state that truckers have contracts with fuel, special fueling stores. They don't have that. But because where Amazon's located, and Amazon uses a lot of independent drivers that don't have that obligation to use certain facilities, it's going to drive a lot of trucks there that aren't going there now. Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Alan Harold.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council. My name is Alan Harold. I live at 105 Levita Boulevard at the home of my parents, which was built in 1954. I've been a resident of Crystal Lawn subdivision for virtually my entire life, and I'm here to speak tonight against the issuance of a special use permit for the fueling station / truck stop on Plainfield Road and Millennium Square. Our subdivision has become known for the large trees and larger than normal lot sizes in today's standards, which have provided a very peaceful and quiet quality of life for our residents. The developer has boasted at previous meetings and hearings about their developments, which are very similar to the Millennium Square development and how well they have been received by the communities in which they were built. They've shown numerous pictures to us of these developments, and the one thing that stood out in all the pictures they've shown to us is not a single one of their projects was built in a already well-established single-family community. In this particular case, Millennium Square, it seems like we're using a shoehorn to basically squeeze an impact development into a 50 to 60-year-old residential community where it's not wanted, nor is it needed. All the existing tenants currently in Millennium Square, I would consider to be low-impact type businesses, meaning that with the exception of Denny's, all the tenants there are operating under normal business hours. They all generate a low volume of traffic, and none of them create excessive noise, including the Firestone dealership, which was granted a special use permit a year after Millennium Square was developed. The proposed fueling station would have the opposite impact on our residents. They're asking for hours of operation from 5 a.m., to 11 p.m. If I was a betting man, I would bet that once they've been established and operated this business for a while, that would be back asking the city council for extended hours. The potential for traffic backups is extremely high. The only exit onto Route 30 via the accessory road going into Millennium Square would back up with just 2 vehicles at that intersection, and they would all be coming from anywhere in the Millennium Square, not just from the gas station itself. Making right turns, which would make it more likely than people to become very impatient waiting at that intersection. And making a right turn, if you're familiar with the area, what they're trying to do is make a right turn off of Route 30 into the existing development area there, and that would be the only exit or entrance into the gas station directly off of Route 30, with people becoming frustrated. I can see people saying, forget the exit coming out of Millennium Square, I'm going to the right turn only, and make a right turn onto Route 30, on that right turn only going into the station. That's a very commonplace thing that happens in the city all over, and I'm sure you've all witnessed that at one time. And for some reason, some people in today's society seem to think the more noise their vehicle creates, the better it is. This holds true whether it's a car or a truck when they modify the exhaust system. And when does that vehicle make the most noise? When it's accelerating from a complete stop, right? In other words, when pulling out of this fueling station on the Route 30 at 5 or 6 a.m. in the morning when most people are still sleeping, or when our residents are sitting outside on a peaceful evening enjoying the evening, or at 10 o'clock possibly when some people are already going to bed. We have concerns that this development brings to our neighborhood with regard to crime. 3 business locations most susceptible to violent crime today, and the worst being armed robbery, are gas stations, convenience stores, and liquor stores. This proposed development is looking to have all 3 under one roof. It's not
No, I'm
uncommon.
sorry, we're at the 4 minutes.
Can I just make one final comment?
Sure.
Okay. In conclusion, please understand, if this development is approved, it would not be built for the benefit of our residents, but rather at the expense of our residents. Thank you very much.
Jim Harris.
Good evening, council members, Mr. Mayor. Thank you for the privilege of letting us be here to voice our concerns. I'm new to the community. I moved to Crystal Lawns back in April. So this is something new to me. I'm just a country boy, so I'm not a good speaker unless I'm talking to the animals, you know. No, I don't have a lot to say. I'm going to keep it under 4 minutes, Mr. Mayor. Obviously, the community is against this building of this monstrosity in our neighborhood. And I think we, the people, should be heard. In the zoning meeting, there was a 4-3 vote against. And then in these the meeting last on the liquor license renewal or whatever, they lost the vote again. So, you know, even some of the leaders are with us on this. So I just appeal to you as the council to consider the wishes of the people. And without getting into a whole mess of what's going on in the world now, in regard to people's rights and citizens' rights and dual legal system. I just think the council should listen to the people of the community. We are against this thing. And in the zoning board meeting, I read a statement from my 15-year-old granddaughter will be a sophomore at Plainfield Central this year. She wrote, I was looking for it, I had it in my phone, but I can't find it, but she made a very good case against the thing because of, you know, the possibility of a fuel leak and contamination in our water system and, you know, a whole bunch of stuff along with the crime related to truck stops and this. So in regard to the thing with the liquor license, I think they're just using that as a back door to get in, and once they get their foot in the door, then they'll build this monstrosity of a truck stop. So, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Doug Zunich, Council Memo 427-23.
Good afternoon. My name is Doug Zunich. I reside at 430 North Center Street. And I just want to voice my opinion on the conversion of the house. I would like to see the city encourage more converting from 2 units down to single family. I don't know if there's a program or not, but I just think it would be a help. There's been a number of houses converted to 2 units right behind St. Mary's Nativity and on West Broadway there. Driving around the house earlier today, I saw that there were 3 cars in the driveway. There were 2 boats with tarps pulled over, a utility trailer, in the backyard. Ford pickup's been sitting in the alley access for over 2 months. And inside the fenced yard, there's a white subcompact that's been sitting there for quite a length of time. You know, my concern is it's a corner lot. All the parking is taken already. You know, it really needs to be looked into. The building needs some major help. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Leslie Grimes, Council Memo 428-23.
Hello, hi, what an honor to be before you. Only thing I have to say is I recently moved 2 years ago. I struggled and I bought the house for me, my husband, and my grandchild to live in. Now they want to put that over there. Only thing I have to say is that we have enough gas stations, not truck stops. We have gas stations on both ends, so we don't need that. I kept asking the man, what are you bringing to us, to our community? He said a pizza thing. I said, we have a pizza thing in the mall. We have all kind on both corners. We have liquor stores on both ends. 4 that away, 3 that away at the stoplight. You're not bringing anything to our community, which everybody in there has worked hard. We maintain our yard. By the way, we do have a well, and that's a possibility of a leak. I pick up trash every morning, just from the regular cars. I sit there and we count it. There is no lot of semi-traffic out there. So I'm not understanding what is he trying to accomplish. And by the way, they are building a new truck stop on Weber Road at the street light. So I'm not understanding why he want our little community so bad. What is the drawback? It's a very beautiful area with large trees and large yards and stuff. Please help us maintain this. Everybody over there, I'm about the youngest homeowner over there. These people work so hard for this. The lights will be directly in my window, because I'm directly across from that. And I don't think that's right. He got plenty of places he could build, plenty of empty places. This is a home area. Please help us. Please help us. We're asking you to help us. Think if it was you guys, you would not want a truck stop where kids play at? We take pride in our area. We shouldn't have to go through this. Thank you. Please consider us. Thank you. Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak on an agenda item other than the public hearings?
Kathy Garthis, of course, 23656 South Better Road, or better now known as Hobo Road. I am speaking on the agenda items, Council Member 421-23 and 425-23. Of course, this is about this truck terminal, truck stop type thing that this place wants to build across the street from my residence house and our house. And I've been here more than enough times, stressing to you about the safety and everything, about my fights with the truck traffic already going down my road, causing danger to me and everything. And let this truck stop, happen here. I mean, how do you expect us to ever live anymore? We're gonna have more, the trucks and the noises. People have been telling you tonight, as I've been telling you for years, about the truck traffic and noise and the air pollution. I walked out to my mailbox today and the truck's just going by my place, the fumes. I was overcome by fumes even. And this is, Joliet only has 2 truck enforcement cops, which I have been on Joliet to get more cops out there to get these speeding trucks from coming down my road so fast and speeding. Now, the only excuse I'm getting is they only have 2 truck enforcement cops. And they don't have cops to be able to keep cops out here 24/7. And as the picture showed, how the truck's trying to run me over. One of the pictures is, of course, one from this company that did try to run me over, as the picture shows that I've given yesterday. And then like the people on Chorus Street, we were here first. We deserved to feel to keep our peace and our safety. And you guys are supposed to be promoting safety and welfare, which welfare is the health and happiness of a person. You guys have been doing more than your share through the years of taking my health and my wealth, happiness away from me. Now I'm getting to where my heart can't take it, not being able to get sleep anymore because of these noisy trucks going up and down my road. And now it is really taking my toll. The other night, I ended up passing out, blacking out, and ended up crashing on my bathroom floor. And that's why I'm in more pain right now. I don't know how much more you think people can keep taking on this. You keep inviting trucks to people's neighborhoods and where the residents live, and it's just not right. And you guys need to start being held accountable for everything you vote in. So I beg you, we don't want this, we don't need this, we don't need any more truck stops going where people live, and do not let it come on my road either. Thank you.
Anyone else that would like to speak on an item other than the public hearings?
Well, I just echo my neighbors in reference to this truck stop and liquor store. They've said pretty much everything that I was gonna say. So hopefully you guys could look at it closer and hopefully vote against it. I appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Anyone else? Seeing none, we'll move on to council committee reports. First is the finance committee report.
Thank you. Finance Committee met here in the chambers at 5 o'clock. On the committee is Councilwoman Quillman, Councilman Hug, and myself. We had a relatively short business meeting and a long budget meeting. In the business meeting, revenues are up $500,000 this past month from the year before. We're at this stage about $4 million higher than last year. The main area of that is the sales tax, which is up about 1.8 million. Gaming is holding its own, but no, not gaining at all. Big surprises for the sewer and water. Both of them are performing according to budget. The report from the Rialto was for this past quarter, they had 24,354 visitors, 3 sold out shows, and 4 sold out artist performances. The next hour of the meeting was the beginning presentation of the budget from the budget director, Kevin Singh, to get some input from the council, and he has a much more aggressive time frame on having us approve the budget early this fall. Larry, Jan, anything to add?
No, it was a very healthy meeting.
And I would just chime in that as aggressive as it is, and I'm behind that, it's gonna be the standard public hearings and everything involved. So people will be able to weigh in, the general public.
Yeah, very agreeable.
That's our report, Mayor.
Thank you.
Land use and legislative committee report.
Okay, land use and legislative, we met on August 4th at 4:30 in the council chambers. Okay, start again. Present was myself, Councilwoman Reardon, and Councilman Guerrero. The only item on the agenda was the proposed amendment to the existing ordinance authorizing for the tow and impoundment of vehicles for certain offenses. This proposal adds no insurance and unlawfully tinted windows to the list of offenses. A policy requiring a warning to be issued prior to a tow for tinted windows was discussed and deemed impractical. Questions were raised about the constitutionality of such an ordinance. The Deputy Corporation Counsel was present and gave the opinion that such an ordinance was constitutional. Following the meeting, this opinion was later confirmed by the Corporation Counsel. The committee asked that the 2 amendments be effective at different times, no insurance to be effective immediately, tinted windows the first of the year. So they can come into compliance at the first of the year with the tinted windows to be fixed if they don't comply. So then the committee voted unanimously to advance this item to the full council. And that concludes my report, Mayor.
I just want to make a comment on that real quick. We had that proposal come in front of us, and we wanted to do some work to it to make it a little bit more precise on some of the things that go on with tinted windows. I think we're talking about separating the no insurance. You know, that you can't get around. I mean, if you've got a valid license and a valid registration, and you don't have your card, that's one thing. But if you're driving an uninsured car, that's another big thing. So we pulled this to take another look at how we want to address the tinted window issues and move forward. So it will be back, and it will be rewritten differently than the original proposal.
Next is the Public Service Committee report.
Public Service met here in the City Hall Council Chambers yesterday, 14th of August, 2023 at 4:30 in the afternoon with a very, very short agenda, 2 items under contracts. The largest item was a review of the contract letting for the lowest bidder being PT Farrell for just under $7.5 million for the Olympic Boulevard Hobart Road improvements, which is all part of the development going out there, particularly the Cullinan multi-use development. We also looked at a professional services agreement for the Hickory Creek channel wall monitoring to Willard Hoffman and Associates in the amount of $100,000 for engineering services to address any of the potential questions about flooding, if you will. For those that aren't familiar, Joliet, of course, is a mature, older downtown. There's a lot of vaults, so we looked at another vault improvement for $225,459.80. Bid to, with a low bid from Lindblad Construction. These vaults are being filled or reinforced and secured in preparation for the downtown plaza project. But that's what we are referring to when we talk about the old downtown vaults. They used to have an important use many, many decades ago. They no longer do. So we approach them one at a time. We looked at a $46,000 contract for a feasibility study with the Army Corps of Engineers, which is required, again, to do with downtown flooding. And we had a change order and for deconstruction, again, on the Hobart Road, Hollywood Road work, of course, which has to do with had to do with the bridge and the subsequent Cullinan project. We looked at all the items and found them to be in order and vetted them thoroughly and unanimously approved all these items to be sent forward to this full council with the committee's unanimous recommendation to approve. Did I miss anything, Caesar or Pat?
Good.
That would be my presentation, Mayor.
Thank you.
I show no other reports. Moving on under consent agenda, approval of the minutes. It's recommended the minutes of the pre-council meeting held on July 31st, 2023, and the minutes of the council meeting held on August 1st, 2023 be approved. Council memo 407, invoices to be paid was removed from consent agenda and will be voted on separately. Council memo 407-23, July 2023 payrolls. It's recommended said payrolls be approved. Council memo 408-23, award of contract to AVDG for City Council Chambers audio-visual upgrade project in the amount of $304,158.28. Council memo 409-23, award of contract to Lenovo for PC Lifecycle Program in the amount of $50,000. Council memo 410-23, award of contract for the 2023 traffic signal materials purchase order to Traffic Control Corporation in the amount of $138,541. Council memo 411-23, rejection of bid for contract number 2735-0723 for the 2023 streetlight pole painting project, contract A, and award of contract number 2743-0823 for the 2023 streetlight pole painting project, contract A, to Cost Grove Construction in the amount of $44,160. Council memo 412-23, request to approve the purchase of 2 Ford Expeditions from Ron Tirapelli Ford in the amount of $127,302. Council Memo 413-23, purchase of one fire apparatus previously approved from Fire Service in the amount of $1,502,644. Council Memo 414-23, purchase of one new Vermeer SC802 stump grinder from Vermeer, Illinois in the amount of $76,467. Council Memo 415-23, purchase of one new diamond boom arm attachment from Aaron's Hogan Walker LLC in the amount of $62,049. Council Memo 416-23, purchase of 5 Ford Mavericks from Ron Tirapelli Ford in the amount of $151,531.30. Council Memo 417-23, purchase of water metering equipment from Core and Main LP in the amount of $219,475.50. Council Memo 418-23, 2023 electrical materials purchase order number 1 to Gray Bar Services in the amount of $216,080.83. Council Memo 419-23, amendment number 1 for the professional services agreement for the Phase 3 engineering services for the Chicago Street Sidewalk Vault Contract 1 to Civil Tech Engineering in the amount of $32,327. It's recommended Council Memos 408-23 through 419-23 be approved. Is there a motion?
Can I say something before we, you know, and I forgot, my fault, I didn't mention it before we approved the agenda. Having been in the industry, I have some concerns over 408-23 for the audiovisual upgrade and the amount, even though it was the lowest bid. I do thank IT for sending the detailed documents earlier today, but I did not have a chance to go through and really look at it. I just have some concern that it's much higher than it should be. But I have been out of the industry for some years now, but it just seemed for what's coming in as far as microphones and audio video, as well as some upgrades in the control room. And if there's nothing else, no cosmetic, no remodeling going on, I thought it was a little high. I don't know that we can do anything as far as tabling that out of the consent agenda. Todd, can we do that at this point?
You can make a motion to have something removed from the consent agenda.
Yeah, at any point.
Yes.
Okay, I don't know if I have support up there, and I apologize I didn't bring it up earlier. I'd like to set that aside until the next meeting so we have a chance to go, I personally have a chance to go through with it. I understand if the majority doesn't want to do that, but then I would not support the consent agenda. It would ask for it to be removed now and at least be removed and voted on separately. So I would make a motion to remove 408-23 and table it until the next meeting.
Mr. Mayor? Yeah, I support that. As long as it's not gonna set us way back, so we can all get a better look at it. But I appreciate Chris sending us all the information. And if it's just gonna be another couple weeks, I don't see an issue with it, but I would second that, so.
Can we do that, or do we need two separate motions, one to remove it from consent, and then a second motion to table it?
I believe we can remove and table, correct?
I'll defer to the city clerk on that.
Yes.
Don't you either remove or either take it off, or the second one would be just a table? You don't have to do both, correct?
It's my understanding would be able to remove it and table it
All the same
all
time?
in one vote. That's my understanding.
Okay, right.
So,
Let the record reflect that was my motion.
yes, so it's been motioned and seconded to remove Council Memo 408-23 from consent agenda and table the item to the September 5th, 2023 council meeting. Councilman Clement?
Aye.
Councilman Guerrero?
Aye.
Councilman Hug?
Aye.
Councilwoman Ibarra?
No.
Councilman Mudrin?
No.
Councilwoman Quillman?
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon?
No.
Councilman Cardenas?
No.
Mayor Darcy?
Aye.
Motion carried 5-4. So Council Memo 408-23 is tabled to the September 5th, 2023 council meeting. So next, we would need a motion to approve all consent agenda items, and I'll review those. So that includes the approval of the minutes, Council Memos 407-23, and Council Memos 409-23 through 419-23. We will vote on invoices to be paid separately. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Been motion and seconded to approve. Councilman Guerrero.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ibarra.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon.
Aye.
Councilman Cardenas.
Aye.
Councilman Clement.
Aye.
Mayor Darcy.
Aye.
Motion carried. Next is invoices to be paid. It's recommended this report be approved. Is there a motion to approve?
Move to approve. Second.
Been motion and seconded to approve. Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ibarra.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
I'd ask for this to be voted on separately. I feel we have an ordinance that is out of control, so letting the Inspector General and his inspector inspect anything they feel they would like to. We have no oversight in this, and I think this needs to be changed, and I vote no.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon.
I too have been watching this every month as far as what we're paying. We're paying another $5,700 between Inspector General and his Mr. Martin Walsh. And we have no information on what we're paying for. We have no anything except for we're just writing checks. So I vote no.
Councilman Cardenas.
No.
Councilman Clement.
Aye.
Councilman Guerrero.
Aye.
Mayor Darcy.
No.
Motion carried 5-4. Next, under public hearings. First is Council Memo 421-23, a public hearing for a resolution approving an annexation agreement for 23525 and 23551 South Hobolt Road, formerly Vetter Road. This is a public hearing, so comments would be in order at this time. Is there anyone that would like to speak during this public hearing?
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. My name is Tom Osterberger at 111 North Ottawa Street, Joliet, Illinois. I'm an attorney for the applicant. One of the principals is here tonight, Isaac Issa. Just a few things. What's proposed here is around a 35,000 to 40,000 square foot building, multi-tenant, in order to keep trucks within the intermodal area. The City of Joliet has voted to widen Vetter Road to accept trucks. They've obviously approved a $200 million joint venture on a bridge. This is where this type of use goes. We've worked with Jim Torrey. There's a pilot on here, and Mr. Issa has a trucking company in that area on Schweitzer. He knows the industry very well, and his idea is to put the smaller users in this building, let them fix their trucks, give them administrative space, and give them enough outdoor space so they can park their trucks. So we don't see independent trucks driving out, parking elsewhere. So I think it's a great project, and he's here to answer questions, but we ask for your approval. By the way, this obviously is an annexation with significant recapture. So what's happened here, and I should have brought it, you have a whole island of county property that needs to come in order to make Vetter Road complete. So, thank you.
Mayor, question? Question? Mr. Osterberger? Question? So is he then going to move the Schweitzer Road?
So he has a
business here, or
present
we have to-
facility, yeah, he's renting from one of the CenterPoint entities right now. He's gonna keep that facility open, utilize part of this, but the idea is to rent to other small, his business is rather large. He's in 4 different cities. His home here is Joliet. He'll utilize a little bit, but the real goal, and if you recall, we pulled the truck stop off of this because he loves it, the industry he's in, and he wants to help some of the smaller guys, and obviously a good business plan for him and the city.
Thank you.
Technically, I gotta get up here and speak again, but as far as he says about Vetter Road being widened and the city approving Vetter Road to be widened for this Hobo toll bridge. Oh, it was number one, was Centerpoint Private and Opportunity that did the widening of Vetter Road, which is really, you're not supposed to be letting private entrepreneurs come in, private businesses come in and take over public roads. It's not supposed to be allowed. As long as them having their toll bridge either, you know, because they're collecting all the toll from it, and that's why they had to turn everything over. Once it was widened and everything, the bridges built, had to turn it over to Joliet. You know, so this road widening really became, you know, in my opinion, illegally done. And also, according to the thing that Centerpoint said, that they promised the residents out there that we were supposed to have our own separate road. So where we could safely get in and out of our driveways and safely get our mail and everything and not have to be fighting trucks to get in, out of our driveway. But of course, once Centerpoint got the okay from you guys in the city, they just reneged on it and did not give us our separate road. So everything's just been done really bad, illegally, in my opinion. And then no truck studies have been done about the trucks, the impacts of the trucks would have on people's houses or the residents. Needless to say, I have been negatively impacted. My truck, you know, my house keeps getting vibrations from the trucks as they go up and down the road. It sounds like somebody's pounding on my door because they shake my house that bad. And needless to say, it has negatively affected my life. It has not been right. None of this has been right from what Centerpoint ever came in here. And we were supposed to get, the residents were supposed to have gotten their lifetime passes for that new toll bridge, and we, of course, never got them either. Centerpoint, when they first came to Joliet, said that they were gonna build a shopping mall for Joliet out there by I-55 and I-80. Needless to say, they didn't do that once they got their okay from Centerpoint, from Joliet to come into Joliet. So it's just been none but lies and betrayal to the citizens that remain, residents that remain living out there. It's just been nothing but trying to negatively impact our lives and trying to drive us out of our houses and drive us out of the area. And this truck stop, like I said, has their own terminal over there on Schweitzer Road. They have their own piece of the pie, and all they want to do is then come over to our area and ruin the rest of what we got left in our lives. And this is not rare. It's on a hill, it's dangerous. I mean, you'd be having trucks pulling out of that thing going across 4 lanes of traffic and having trucks coming the other way. How are they gonna see it? They're not gonna see a truck on the other side of the hill. There's gonna be accidents waiting to happen. You know, it's bad enough with the trucks, and then, you know, now you're gonna be having trucks pulling in and out on a hill. That is dangerous. And there's other places, this place could have gone further down Schweitzer Road. They're vacant, their properties down there on Schweitzer Road that haven't been developed. They could have went down there and put their little thing down there where nobody lives. So I pray that you guys oppose this and don't let it happen. Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak during this public hearing?
Good evening. We believe that this project helps accomplish Joliet's goal in terms of putting truck traffic exactly where it belongs, in the intermodal footprint. Not only does it help put the current traffic that's that needs to go into the intermodal footprint, I think it helps with smaller and mid-sized companies, taking them out of certain areas and plazas where truck traffic really just doesn't belong. And, you know, I grew up in the trucking business where, you know, finding an office was always, you know, either it's too hot or too cold. Either you find an office in next to a lawyer's office and your truck is pulling up and blocking traffic and it's illegal parking, or you're trying to find something where everything is housed underneath one roof, and economically it's very difficult for smaller and mid-sized carriers to afford this. So we believe this project takes the small, mid-sized guys that can afford to consolidate their operations and areas that are meant for truck traffic and put them inside the intermodal, where essentially helps Joliet achieve its goals and taking the truck traffic away from the residents and putting it, again, exactly where it belongs. Thank you.
Thank you. I have a question. So is this gonna be something more like, we'll call it a shared space for different smaller trucking companies?
There'd be 4 offices, yes.
Just offices and or like truck parking?
Offices and parking and bays where they can fix and repair their vehicles.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else that would like to speak? Let the record show that the hearing is now closed. Is there a motion to approve Council Memo 421-23, a resolution approving an annexation agreement for 23525 and 23551 South Hobart Road, formerly Vetter Road?
So moved.
Been motion seconded to approve. Councilwoman Ibarra?
No.
Councilman Mudrin?
Yes.
Councilwoman Quillman?
No.
Councilwoman Reardon?
Aye.
Councilman Cardenas?
Aye.
Councilman Clement?
Aye.
Councilman Guerrero?
Aye.
Councilman Hug?
Aye.
Mayor Darcy?
Aye.
Motion carried 7-2. Next is Council Memo 422-23, a public hearing for a resolution approving an amendment to an annexation agreement for Millennium Square subdivision to allow packaged liquor sales on Lot A. This is a public hearing, so comments are in order at this time. First, we have Dick Boyd.
In reference to liquor stores, you've got several liquor places you can get liquor at, which is Speedway, Walgreens, Target, Benny's, several different locations that you can get liquor stored or liquor at a store. I can't really see us having another liquor store. It's like having a used car lot. I appreciate if you guys would look at it a little closer. Thank you very much.
Bill Caton.
Good evening, Mayor, Councilwomen, and gentlemen. My name is Bill Caton. I am with Caton Commercial, and I've been having the privilege of being with this project since 2005. Last evening, I gave you some history about that project, and you have Alan and Sue Winter, who are here again tonight, to talk to you a little bit about that. I have 4 quick points I want to make so I don't run over again tonight. And first of all, currently this is a vacant lot with weeds, and it becomes a dumping ground for cement, tree limbs, garbage. Every month we have to mow it and clean it up. The Winters are stuck with paying taxes and maintenance fees, and they have no income for the last 17 years. And as you heard them talk, 17 years, they had 10 contracts from viable people that are developers, and none of them were able to make that project work for their projects. So when you look at this, okay, you say, this is a truck stop, and they're concerned about having a truck stop. Well, they shouldn't be concerned because they're not going to have a truck stop. It's not a truck stop. I have the privilege with my company of working with several truck stops on I-80 and I-57 and in the past I-55. The current ones we're working with, the minimum they'll do is 10 acres, and most of them want more. On I-80 in Brisbane, they want 45 acres. And the truck stop is going to have not only the fuel, but they're going to have separation of cars. They're going to have a restaurant so they can eat. They're going to have a place where they can park and rest because they have logbooks and they can't go over that time. They need to stop and rest. This has none of those applicants to it. So if it's not a truck stop, what is it? It's a small community convenience center that happens to have a drive-up window with a food option. It also has a convenience option, a convenience store for shopping. It has packaged liquor, not a liquor store, okay? It has an entertainment section called gaming. And yes, they have gas. Why do they have all of these combinations? Because that's the only way they can make a viable product work here. And it is called that. It's a convenience store. They're gonna pay more money than they are down the street for some of these items, but they don't care because they're after the time value of that. So it's not a truck stop. It's gonna be a convenience. Now, what it can also be is it can be an initiator. We talked about that little strip center in the area. It is still suffering, all right? The people there have only made it through COVID because of the graces of the owner. He bought it out of a bankruptcy, and because of that, his basis is so low. Dan's Candy's been trying to leave for 3 years. He wouldn't let them. He reduced their rent. They're leaving in January. He doesn't know what he's gonna put in there yet, right? So look at this as an opportunity maybe to create some activity and some synergy. Times have moved on. This is no longer a 2-lane street with houses on both sides. This is a 4-lane highway that is now connecting, the Crest Hill area to the mall. But it is a no man's land for retail. We've proved that over 17 years and 10 contracts. So I urge the board to look at this as the overall picture for the future of the community. What's best? Right? Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak during this public hearing?
Good evening, Council. Tom Osterberger, 111 North Ottawa Street. I think Bill, I'm here for the applicant. I think Bill touched on everything. This public hearing is on an amendment to the annexation agreement, specifically to permit the sale of packaged liquor. The existing annexation agreement prevented it, and it prevented it because of what took place at Tuckaway Tavern some almost 20 years ago now. The city wisely said we don't want that to happen again. So they were trying to stop, literally the language in the annexation agreement is tavern or packaged liquors. As Bill said, this isn't a liquor store, and it's certainly not a tavern, okay? We amended this annexation agreement almost immediately after it was done to permit the Firestone, because we weren't gonna have auto repair, which made sense. Well, they needed auto repair. We know what happened. We saw a crash in the markets. We saw retail go away. They wanted an auto repair, they got it, and it's fine. We have seen, and you have seen and had to vote on gas stations in neighborhoods, okay? And it's difficult. Usually what you've seen is approving a gas station where neighborhoods have grown up, caused the need for the station, and then you have a tough decision because the neighbors come out. All well-intentioned neighbors, they want the gas station somewhere else. This is a little different in the sense that we are on the other side. There's two groups here. We have people in Crystal Lawn on the other side of a state highway, okay? There are some people in Crystal Lawn that face Route 30. Everybody else is internal. People are gonna stop at this location. They're gonna get their gas, their sandwich, their pre-prepared food, and in this case, a 6-pack, because no gas station now will go in unless they can get a liquor license, and they're gonna move on. They're not going to be driving through Crystal Lawns. I've driven through there. It's interesting, it's circuitous. People are not going out of the way to go in there. So what we're really talking about are the neighbors in Crystal Lawn that are on Route 30, and it's difficult. But 24,000 cars a day down Route 30. I mean, this is where a gas station belongs. But it isn't just a gas station. We have a gas station as a special use in our code for a reason. And it was really there for historical reasons because we were worried about petroleum and other things. And gas stations used to also have auto repair. Here tonight is Chris, I'm gonna mess this up, Kalashevsky. Chris is an architect with WT Group. He's done a lot, and I would like him to talk to you about now, even though we're in the public hearing for the liquor license, because again, if we don't have packaged liquor, we're not gonna see any gas station, mini mart, that's not gonna have the liquor component anymore. But I would like Chris to talk about it, answer your questions on safety, on noise, and the other group of people are on garden. The people on Garden are immediately adjacent, and Chris can talk about the landscaping and what could be done to protect those people that are immediately adjacent. So, Chris?
Good evening. Thank you for this opportunity to present. My name is Chris Kolashevsky from WT Group in Hoffman Estates, Illinois. We did submit a PowerPoint. I don't know if that's available. Maybe you've seen the site plan itself, but we very specifically have separated the three main uses on this site. That is the auto canopy, that is the truck canopy, and that is the actual building itself, which is a food offering as well as convenience items. This is allowed per the current zoning in terms of it's allowed in a B3 as a special use. All gas stations come in Joliet as a special use. This site is, as was mentioned before, on a street that is 24,000 cars a day. The greatest noise that's occurring right now today is created by that traffic. I personally have taken sound studies, and it's up in the 80s, 86, 87 decibels for trucks passing by. We are required by the state of Illinois to be at 55 decibels during the day and at 45 at night. That's just a requirement. So we will not be adding to the noise issue there. Our tanks are also double walled and double lined, except for the state of California. The state of Illinois has the most stringent requirements for underground storage tanks and related petroleum equipment. Again, everything is double walled, interstitial, and monitored. That monitoring not only goes into the store, but also is directly contacted to the person that is registered with the state who's in control of the petroleum for that site. So it's an immediate notification to one of the ARM group personnel. In regards to the traffic, this gas station is actually the best thing to be proposed here. If a McDonald's was proposed here, that is a destination use and would create additional traffic. A gas station uses the existing traffic. The only reason we're looking at this site is because there is 24,000 cars on that roadway today that warrants the $7 million plus investment into this property. Again, in terms of the truck use, it will not have semi-truck traffic. If you've seen the site plan, it's a U-shaped diagram, and we do that specifically. There are no showers. There's no formal sit-down restaurant, which are all indications of a true truck stop. And so this is not a truck stop as defined in terms of the plazas like a TJ's or a Road Pilot or a travel center. We've addressed the noise. Again, all I can say is that the quality of the material with the double wall tanks, again, it's most stringent from the state fire marshal, and these tanks are warranted for 30 years. And they are very sound, and we have not had a leak from a double wall fiberglass interstitially monitored tank that we've installed or had been involved in a project. So it's very safe, and with 3 seconds, that's all I can say.
Chris, could you also talk about groundwater, or surface water treatment?
Oh yeah, and thank you. There are two real quick. Any drop of water that hits the pavement will go into the storm sewers. The storm sewers have these catch basins that have the filters.
I'm sorry, we're at 4 minutes.
Okay. Sorry about that.
Mayor, I had a quick question. You talk about the lighting and then the sound and visual barriers. I think that was brought up earlier.
Yeah, so 3 things. The layout, circulation, the lights, especially the neighbors on how they're affected on guard?
Certainly. Yeah, our lights are all light emitting diodes or LEDs. The great thing about LEDs is they're very directional. And they're not like the metal halide lights that you saw hung below a canopy or below a yard light fixture that cause this horizontal glare. The actual light source is in the housing of the yard light and in the soffit of the canopy. We use them to focus onto the face of the dispensers, and we meet and exceed the requirements from your code in terms of the foot candles at the property line. In addition to that, we're adding a Simtech fence, an acoustic type fence along the entire perimeter of our back side there, and then landscaping, coniferous and deciduous landscaping on both sides there. The other item, I'm sorry, I forgot the other part, was it?
He was specifically asking about lighting, and I wanted you to address the neighbors there. The hours are proposed are 5 to 11. What happens to the lights at 11?
After 11, they go off, except for some security lighting, of course, right at the building for the police to be able to look into the building itself.
Any other questions?
This is a tough one, Mayor, because we have just two sets of residents here. And I mean, we're going back and forth about this, and I understand both dilemmas. The problem is it's a busy street. And whenever you move by a busy street, it's only normal that it's going to expand eventually. Look at Route 6, there's houses on Route 6 as you go towards 355, and they're eventually going to widen that, and these roads are going to be right in folks' front yard when that ever comes. And this has been vacant for many, many, many years. So my thoughts are, can we come up with some type of compromise that would please the neighbors that are living there, around there, so that it's a little more palatable for them? I don't know if it's going to be bigger berms or lighting. I was looking for something with lighting and I couldn't find anything. Low-level lighting and more berms just to keep the noise down. And I don't know, something that could please everybody. It's hard to please everybody all the time, but these are my thoughts. If we could come up with something that would please the neighbors that are living there. Because this project is not going to be empty forever. They've been trying to sell it for many, 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 many years to no avail. And eventually something might even come in that's even worse than what we're talking about now. I don't know. I can't predict the future, but this is the dilemma I'm having here with this particular property.
You make a good point in terms of the zoning, the classification B3. A 3-story building 55 feet tall could be built today and no need to go to any board. We're only 23 feet in terms of the height. We have asked the neighbors what size fence. We can do a 6, an 8, a 10. We could even do a 12. I wouldn't recommend that. That'd be more claustrophobic. So we definitely want to add the fences on the back side. And then on the front side, we'll definitely do the bermings in the right-of-way area to block any potential lighting as well.
I wanted to point out one other thing. The annexation agreement expires in 30 months, so the prohibition on the sale of packaged liquors or having a tavern in this location will be gone. So it'll only be up to the city to decide whether or not a liquor license should be issued. It won't be a zoning or planning issue.
Mayor, just to clarify, and the attorney might be able to, I think I'm correct, but I'm not an attorney and I don't play one on TV. You're not going to see gas stations or truck stops going up anywhere anymore in Illinois, for the most part, that are less than 3 acres and that pump less than 10,000 gallons of diesel. This definition of a truck stop is according to the Illinois gaming laws. If they are on at least a footprint of 3 acres, that's why you notice this is 3 acres, and they pump 10,000 gallons of diesel each month on average, which is not a lot of diesel, just your small service diesel, cars and trucks, do that. Although they want a liquor license, they don't need a liquor license. They don't need our special BG liquor license that is on the books. The state gives it to them because according to the state gaming laws, that is a for the purposes of gaming, a truck stop or, you know, a truck fuel center. Am I correct?
That's there's specific definition within the gaming statute calling it a truck facility for that purpose. You're 100% correct.
And so you're gonna see everybody calling it a truck facility, which we will all call a truck stop. We have one that was built out at Droughton Road and Theodore amongst existing subdivisions. It's right on the border of my district as well as Councilwoman Reardon's. And I've stopped there before because I do travel about. I'm an independent business owner in sales, but I've never seen a semi there. But they are a truck fueling facility or truck stop because they automatically get the gaming license from the state. That's the state law, that's not a local ordinance. I just wanted to clarify it and confirm it with our lawyer or this one, that I'm correct in my interpretation.
That's correct.
I don't know off the top of my head, Councilman, I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak during this public hearing?
I just have a couple comments to make in rebuttal to what's been said recently here. They've talked about this 4-lane highway being Route 30 and all the residences along Route 30. And let me be honest and clear with you, not a single-family home or residence has been rezoned or repurposed since the original annexation agreement went in. There were 4 homes with frontage on Route 30, when Tuckaway Tavern, or actually when when Tuckaway Tavern went in, that were part of that project and were demolished. Since that time, not a single home has been repurposed or rezoned for any reason whatsoever. So every one of those homes is still there. The 22,000 cars that they talk about traveling Route 30, we understand that traffic. We know what traffic is there. Our concern is with the gas station, that traffic is now stopping at this gas station. And that's where the problem arises with the noise that we talked about, possibly. I mean, with the cars and the trucks pulling in there, without the gas station there, those cars keep going on. Like I said before, everything seems to be done in reverse here. It was brought up that there's a new gas and wash going out on Division Street at the intersection of Weber Road. If you're familiar with that, where the Catholic Diocese offices are at. Perfect location. 2 corners are agricultural. One is the diocese offices, and the other one is the new development. Closest residential is approximately half a mile away. Absolutely a perfect location for this. Any development that comes up to this gas station or truck stop, whatever you want to call it, can be controlled. People moving in there will realize what they're moving into. What we have here is, like I told you, is a single-family residential area that's been there for 50 to 60 years. Okay, now we're trying to drop in a truck stop or gas station, as you want to call it, and all the injury, and to go back, I mean, as far as the special use permit is required by the city of Joliet, if I'm correct here, is that it cannot be injurious to the existing uses of the surrounding property. Surrounding property is all single-family residential, okay? Now we've got a truck stop or / gas station going in here. Is it injurious to the development or that's already there and the people living there and the quality of life that they've come to expect? I guess it's open for debate. I guess if whether you live there or not, if you live there, yes, it's injurious. If you don't live there, maybe possibly not. So, like I said, it's as far as Councilman Coleman suggested, as far as a possible compromise here. I've talked to some people about the possible compromise, and I don't know how you compromise this. I mean, they can't operate from what they're telling us without everything, the liquor, the slot machines, the convenience store, the fast food development, and the gas. I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot for us to have to accompany and live with. How do you compromise on that? I don't know. I mean, they can't have the slot machines, from what I understand, without the liquor, okay? So everything is entwined, and I don't know where there's room for compromise. I mean, our suggestion for compromise is basically anything, any low-impact type commercial development other than a gas station. I mean, like I say, we've been there for 50, 60 years. It's an issue that I don't know where you compromise on. I would love to compromise, and I would be open to suggestions, but I don't know where you compromise. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
My name is Charmaine Schenker. I live at 2562 Plainfield Road. And I've been there for 47 years. I've gave up 10 feet of my property to widen the highway, to make it easier to get to the mall and the shopping centers, because it would back up all the way to Speedway, especially during Christmas. It's been so nice since they made the turn lane for us to get in our driveways. And now with semis even thinking about coming down there to pull in and out on Route 30, it just ruins the whole idea of what they had planned. That people could move into the mall area, you know, food, everything. And traffic doesn't back up past where I could see it out my kitchen window. Where before it just went on and on. And I'm just afraid that with semis being, you know, brought back in the area, it's gonna be sit there and try to get out. And there hasn't been any accidents on Route 30 by my house lately. There used to be one at least once or twice a month. Somebody getting hit from behind because the traffic stopped and they weren't looking. And that's all I can say is, it's been a nice time living there, but as when semis start adding, it's not gonna be nice anymore. Thank you.
Next.
I don't want to be repetitive, but we don't have a problem with them bringing something that would enhance our neighborhood. They steady asking for gaming and liquor license. We have all these liquor stores on each corner. You're not bringing nothing to enhance our community, our way of living that we've grown to love. We pay good money for property tax and all this. As a matter of fact, it just went up. It doesn't make sense to take our way of living away from us. I don't have a problem with them bringing something. They're talking about a drive-through. They want to bring Barrero's Pizza. They have that in the mall. That's an attraction for the mall, for the kids. This is our house, our livelihood. We worked hard to get where we are today. Now, if they was bringing something new there that could enhance us, anything. The lights coming, when they get gas, will be shining directly into my window, directly into there. At 7 o'clock, that traffic dies down. I sit on my porch and enjoy what I'm paying for, what I'm working hard for. I sit there, me and the little boy running around the yard like you're crazy, having a good time. You want traffic just to be there steady? There's no traffic there after that time. It is very quiet and peaceful at 7 o'clock on out. We have to go to work. You have all kind of things coming to our community. You're talking about packaged liquor? You got drugs, so you're gonna bring drugs to our neighborhood? Every last one of you guys, you know I'm right. Anybody sitting in that parking lot, there will be drug transactions out there. Just so happen, if we do have a catastrophe with the fuel, pray to God it don't, but look at Maui. Anything could happen. You're playing with our livelihood. I understand the owners want to build something there. Hey, we welcome you. We welcome you. But give us something that we don't already have that won't take our way of living from us, that we worked hard for. I worked my butt off. I worked 2 jobs to get where I am. I do a lot. And then you want to come bring crime into the area? We have no crime out there. It's very peaceful. Drug transactions. I pick up trash along the front of my house already. All these people just sitting there all time of night. Trucks sitting all out there. They say, no, there's only so many spots. But you know it, and I know it. That's what it's gonna be. Please, consider us. They welcome to bring something there. But they bringing something that we already have. We have gas stations, liquor stores, abundance on both ends. As a matter of fact, we got Betty's. We got all kind of gaming things at both lights. You're not bringing nothing to us. You're taking away something that we worked hard for. I struggled and saved to get where I am. Don't take that away from us. Some people have been out there 40, 50 years. You're gonna come put that in there? If you put the packaged liquor like that, gaming and all that, You know I'm gonna sit there and watch the drug transactions. And everybody know it. Thank you. Please think carefully. Think about us. Please, please, thank you.
Okay. I have two things. I live behind the houses where the headlights will be shining through. That's where I sit. It's my sunroom where I watch majority of my TV, spend time with my dog. I will see those lights. So despite what he's acting like it's just the people on the immediate Route 30 being affected, no, it will bleed through, especially in the cooler months and winter when the trees die down and the leaves fall. I'm going to get that bleed through of the lights. I hear the traffic on 30 as it is right now. And then I've never been able to get this out of the developer. We are all on wells, okay? That is our drinking, that is our hygiene water. In the event that something does happen, it's called an accident. He cannot give us any type of emergency plan that they would put in place, what they would do for us in the event something like that happened. Just going on a whim that it's 100% safe, this never fails, that's why things are called accidents. Maybe you can get something out of him, what they would do for us in an event like that, but that's all I got to say. Thank you.
Good evening, Council and Mayor. I'll try to keep this short. I live off of Kellogg Street, to the north of this development. I started building my house here in 2005, right before this development went in. When this development went in, Firestone came back and said we would like to make an amendment for this. They worked with the neighbors, got their input, made some suggestions and changes. Those changes went in, one of those being they changed their hours of operations. Looking at the site plan, they also modified their building so that the garage doors were not facing the residential area. That was a good back and forth communication that arrived at, I think, a equitable solution. Everybody seemed happy, and the place has been fine. No problems from my side. There are a few things I would like to talk about. I know this is just for the liquor license, however, this all seems to be rolled together. I did look at the original annexation agreement. There is something on there, excuse me. Page 27, item E, has Kellogg Street improvements. From what I can see in there, a lot of those are not complete. There's no road signage for Kellogg Street. Councilman Hugg, I think I've reached out to you directly for the semis that are already parking on this road. They block the cross streets. I've almost been T-boned many times. That's an ongoing issue. That's years ongoing. There's also a decorative fence on page 71 of that annexation agreement. And again, this goes back to 2005. The developer has made statements that he will put a fence in, but this was supposed to be for the whole parcel. The most important thing in that annexation agreement is the US 30 signalization. It calls for a shall install. That's the big issue. They're talking 2,500 cars. I doubt 2,500 cars come into that place in a week. That's going to be a significant increase in traffic. That has no traffic control device. That is in the annexation agreement. If we're going to wait till that expires so we can ignore it, it is what it is, but that seems like a bad way to handle development. There is another item in the restrictions, item 10, idling of trucks between 11 p.m. and 7 a.m. That's going to overlap, especially in the morning. I don't know how you prevent trucks or cars from idling at a gas station. I know people are supposed to shut them off, but that doesn't always happen. So by default, this will have idling trucks at this location and cars. And as far as I can tell, that hasn't been brought up or addressed by the developer, even though it is one of the restrictions in the development. So I think the most critical thing is the signalization. Without that signalization, I can't see how this works as a benefit to the region. As far as traffic, 15 seconds. Ooh. The only places that's going to be coming from are the warehouses along Division Street. Trucks already come down Gaylord. That's not a truck route. Trucks come down Caton Farm. That's not a truck route. This is going to attract those trucks, and that's not where they belong. Thank you.
Sooner or later, there will be a business there. From what I hear, that most people are complaining about traffic. No matter what business goes in there, it will require traffic going in and out. There will be lights from the cars shining around the area. The parking lot for that business will be visible around the area. And I can only see a larger business in there that attracts traffic. I think the best thing to do is to evaluate it as what is best for Joliet. And that is probably not a vacant lot. So thank you.
Hi, I'm Susan Winter, and I grew up there. My father grew up there, and my grandparents were there. Can you hear me okay? Okay. And I hated the trucks. I mean, Route 30 was Route 30. I hated the trucks. I wasn't allowed near the road. I hated the cars, but I most of all hated the motorcycles because there's always noise. You know, life is like that. But now what's happened is that because we took a short-term loan in order to involve ourselves in a different, hopefully money-making idea, we ended up losing it all, everything. We had a beautiful house, log house, with our own lake, and we'd gotten our dream. We were going to leave that dream to Plainfield someday as an art institute. So we had our dreams, and we had the things we loved, but now we're in Wilmington, and we're in a small apartment, and we have no money. I mean, no money, because all of our insurance went into that involvement that we got into, and everything is just Social Security and a small insurance thing. So there's nothing we have left except now we have that field. And that field looks like just a field to everyone else, but it's a field that costs us 15 grand a year in order to pay the taxes on it. It doesn't produce anything. There's not even a farmer on it. It just plain takes up 15,000 a year. We ran out of 15,000 long ago. Alan worked all his life for Argonne. I worked as a respiratory therapist at the hospitals, and our money's gone. There's just none left. And so we've had to borrow from a friend for the last 2 years to pay the taxes. We can't do that forever. And we really would like to be able to just do a few things in our old age. He's 91, he was the one who was up here talking. I'm 79, I'm almost to the 80 point, which I can't believe. But we would like to do something once in a while, but we can't. We can't, if I buy something from from Amazon, my husband says, well, did we need that? Well, no, maybe we didn't need it, but You know, I'm almost 80 years old. Once in a while, I want to buy something just because I liked it. So I'm just putting out my plea because I'm just saying to you, this is the other side of the story. It's not just a field, and it's not simple, and it does cost money. It's going to cost me a lot of money over the years. And my sister, bless her dear heart, she was older than I, but she died of Alzheimer's in April. She never got to see the inheritance. And I'm kind of sad about the whole thing. So I would really appreciate your considering not just one side of the story, if we're just going on stories and headlights, because I've been with that all the time. Thank you for listening.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Chris Stark, and I'm with the WT Group. I work with Chris Kalashevsky. I just wanted to add a couple more things anyway, regarding the building itself and the floor area ratio. It is the floor area ratio over 3.31 acres is 3.7%, as well as, and that's a reasonably low intensity for this use. And in terms of the soundproofing, we wanted to reiterate that we will provide the appropriate berming and appropriate landscaping to help aid blocking the headlights, as well as the fence, which would wind up being a Simtech fence. It's made specifically to mute sound and will be designed in accordance to help benefit the site. Thank you very much.
Anyone else? Seeing none, let the record show the hearing is now closed. Is there a motion to approve Council Memo 422-23, a resolution approving an amendment to an annexation agreement for Millennium Square subdivision to allow packaged liquor sales on Lot A?
Motion approved. Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Mudrin,
Yes.
Councilwoman Coleman,
I hope we can address the idling issue, and I'll vote aye.
Councilwoman Reardon,
Aye.
Councilman Cardenas,
Aye.
Councilman Clement,
Aye.
Councilman Guerrero,
Aye.
Councilman Hug,
Aye.
Councilwoman Ibarra,
Work with the neighbors as much as you can to make sure everyone's happy, and I'll vote aye.
Mayor Darcy.
Aye.
Motion carried. Next is Council Memo 423-23, a public hearing for a resolution approving an annexation agreement for annexation of 8.81 acres located at 18204 Northwest Frontage Road. This petition was withdrawn. Moving on, under ordinances, Council Memo 425-23, ordinances associated with 23525 and 23551 South Hobart Road, formerly Better Road. This includes an ordinance approving the annexation of 23525 and 23551 South Hobart Road, an ordinance approving the classification of 23525 and 23551 South Hobart Road to I-1 light industrial zoning, and an ordinance approving a special use permit to allow a trucking facility located at 23525 and 23551 South Hobart Road. It's recommended said ordinances be adopted.
Motion approved.
Second.
Been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilwoman Quillman.
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon.
Aye.
Councilman Cardenas.
Aye.
Councilman Clement.
Aye.
Councilman Guerrero.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ibarra.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Mayor Darcy.
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 426-23, an ordinance approving a variation of use to allow a 2-unit residence in an R2 single-family residential zoning district located at 1011 Valley Avenue. It's recommended said ordinance be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilwoman Reardon.
Aye.
Councilman Cardenas.
Aye.
Councilman Clement.
Aye.
Councilman Guerrero.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
No.
Councilwoman Ibarra.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman.
No.
Mayor Darcy.
Aye.
Motion carried 7-2. Council Memo 427-23, an ordinance approving a variation of use to allow a 2-unit residence in an R2 single-family residential zoning district located at 425 North Hickory Street. It's recommended that ordinance be adopted.
Mayor, before we do anything with this, I'd like to know about these permits, when they were taken, if they were taken, and, I'm pretty sure this building was single-family and made illegally, so Tori, do you have the information on that for me, please?
Well, yeah, the whole story with this one, they had a 2-unit use dating back to 1920. In 1967, it was decommissioned, not removed entirely. In 1998, they were reclassified when we were doing the neighborhood rezonings from R5 high-density zoning to R2 single-family zoning. In 2015, they started recommissioning that 2-unit use. They do have an electrical permit from April of 2022. During an inspection for the single-family rental program, that's when our neighborhood services inspectors found that the 2-unit use was being recommissioned, put back in service, not yet rented. So in that, during that inspection, he instructed the property owners to seek zoning approval, to look into zoning approval, because he knew they didn't have the correct zoning. They applied for the zoning at that time for this variation of use, which is before you today. If they received approval, they know they have to get building permits to, for the work that's already been done and for any future work that is needed. So that's kind of the whole story there. They have separate kitchens, they have separate bathrooms, there's separate access, there's no shared stairway, and they have separate gas, water meters, and electrical services.
But it was zoned for single-family at that type. In that-
1998,
yes.
it got reclassified to single
Right.
family, but before that time, it was
So
high
then when
density.
it went into single-family rental, that's how we discovered it, correct?
Yes,
Okay,
during that
so now we have an illegal 2-unit where it has been worked on without permits. And the neighbors don't like it, and I know that, I did receive some calls from Bishop's Hill Winery just up the road. They're trying to improve the area, and, there's a lot of apartment buildings going in around there, and they're trying to make the winery nice with a beautiful, I don't know if you've been there, but it's a beautiful area. And now you have getting this density back where Cathedral area and St. Pat's and Cunningham have fought for so long to downzone these houses, and now people just come in and just start working on them, and then they want you to feel sorry for them because they've done all the work to make it a 2-unit when it's a single-family home. So, how much money do they owe us for building permits?
I couldn't tell you that, that would be all determined on number of.
I know they've been working on it for at least 3 years, because I go by this all the time, and I thought, oh, somebody bought it, they're really fixing it up. But have you looked at it? It looks like a mosaic. I mean, there's just hodgepodge all over the place. And like, there's 2 boats in the driveway, as the gentleman said, with tarps. You're not supposed to park your boat in the yard. And all this other stuff that's going on around there. So I would move to deny this whole thing, because this is just gonna keep happening, and this is one of the reasons why I pushed so hard for the single-family rental unit, because this has happened before in many neighborhoods.
Did you make a motion, Councilwoman?
Yes, I'm making a
I'll
motion to
second it.
deny.
Mr. Mayor. Jim, so the conversion started in 2015, and then once the rental inspection program, that's when this was all discovered in 2022.
Yeah, the unusual situation here is what we've been seeing lately is they decommissioned this unit. They did not make this structure all one single-family house. They used one of the unit as like storage. So it's been 2 units since 1920 is what we've found, but they just did not use one of the units. And so during that and not responding to our letters when we reclassified the neighborhoods, it got rezoned to single family. So it wasn't like this huge conversion back to a 2-unit. It was simple things that they were doing to get this other unit that was already there, ready for a renter. And that's when our inspector discovered it.
Thank you.
It was motioned and seconded to deny Council Memo 427-23, which is an ordinance approving a variation of use to allow a two-unit residence in an R2 single-family residential zoning district located at 425 North Hickory.
We'd like a little more any more discussion on this
Yeah,
before we go to
that's,
vote?
is that okay, Mayor?
Yeah.
That's not okay in the city of Joliet to do work, not pull permits, and then find out from an inspection and then try and get the permits after the fact. That's not okay in the city of Joliet.
Any other comments? Can you repeat the motion then, so we've got it?
It's been motioned and seconded to deny Council Memo 427-23, which is an ordinance approving a variation of use to allow a two-unit residence in an R2 single-family residential zoning district located at 425 North Hickory Street. Councilman Cardenas?
Aye.
Councilman Clement?
Aye.
Councilman Guerrero?
Aye.
Councilman Hug?
Aye.
Councilwoman Ibarra?
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin?
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman?
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon?
Aye.
Mayor Darcy?
Aye.
Motion carried, the ordinance was denied. Council Memo 428-23, an ordinance approving a special use permit to allow a fueling facility located at 2571 and 2573 Plainfield Road. It's recommended said ordinance be adopted.
So move.
Second.
Been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Clement?
Aye.
Councilman Guerrero?
Aye.
Councilman Hug?
Aye.
Councilwoman Ibarra?
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin?
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman?
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon?
Aye.
Councilman Cardenas?
Aye.
Mayor Darcy?
Aye.
Motion carried. Next is Council Memo 429-23, ordinances associated with the annexation of 8.81 acres located 18204 Northwest Frontage Road and the development of the Imperial Site LLC subdivision. This petition was withdrawn. Council Memo 430-23 was previously removed from the agenda. Next is Council Memo 431-23, an ordinance amending the 2023 annual budget for the City Council Chambers Upgrade Project. It's recommended said ordinance be adopted.
Mayor, this
question.
is, I'm sorry, Councilman.
No, go ahead.
This is a budget amendment request that went along with the upgrade to the council audio video improvements that you earlier tabled to
Right.
September 5th.
So we should probably table it.
It would be
Well,
recommended that this should be tabled to September 5th as well.
I would make a motion to table this until 2 weeks. Next meeting. 3 weeks, I'm sorry, next meeting.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to table Council Memo 431-23, an ordinance amending the 2023 annual budget for the City Council Chambers Upgrade Project to the September 5th, 2023 council meeting. Councilman Guerrero?
Aye.
Councilman Hug?
Aye.
Councilwoman Ibarra?
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin?
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman?
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon?
Aye.
Councilman Cardenas?
Aye.
Councilman Clement?
Aye.
Mayor Darcy?
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 431-23 is tabled to the September 5th council meeting. Moving on under resolutions, Council Memo 433-23, a resolution authorizing a memorandum of understanding with the American Red Cross. It's recommended said resolution be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
Been motion and seconded to approve. Councilman Hug?
Aye.
Councilwoman Ibarra?
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin?
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman?
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon?
Aye.
Councilman Cardenas?
Aye.
Councilman Clement?
Aye.
Councilman Guerrero?
Aye.
Mayor Darcy?
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 434-23, a resolution authorizing an intergovernmental agreement for participation in the mutual aid box alarm system. It's recommended said resolution be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
Been motion seconded to approve. Councilwoman Ibarra?
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin?
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman?
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon?
Aye.
Councilman Cardenas?
Aye.
Councilman Clement.
Aye.
Councilman Guerrero.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Mayor Darcy.
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 435-23, a resolution granting easements to the Illinois Department of Transportation for the Cass Street, US Route 30 movable bridge over the Des Plaines River Rehabilitation Project. It's recommended said resolution be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
Been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman.
How long is this gonna be again, Mr. Rodney?
I don't have the exact details on the construction schedule. Do you have an answer at hand on that, Greg?
Full rehab, I don't have specific.
We can follow up and get back to
2
you.
years, guesstimate?
Well, the history with the bridges has been, we've been giving a construction timeline, and then when the bridges are open.
I know, 4 years?
Yeah, I know.
I vote aye, I just wanted to know, thank you.
Councilwoman Reardon.
Aye.
Councilman Cardenas.
Aye.
Councilman Clement.
Aye.
Councilman Guerrero.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ibarra.
Aye.
Mayor Darcy.
Aye.
Motion carried. Next is the city manager's report.
Thank you, Krista. A couple items. One of them I believe you would have known about some time ago, but I just thought it would be worth bringing back today because we just were notified by the state by the feds, that we had received a US EPA grant relative to an application we made for water main replacement funds. And this was from the 2022 Consolidated Appropriations Act. And this is the grant that Congressman Foster had first announced for us of $3.5 million. And that's all being spent in the water main replacement project, specifically in the Black Road Acre subdivision. But we just got the official notice this week of the actual award. So I just wanted to remind you of that. And then the other thing I wanted to report on is tomorrow we have a contingency from the city heading down to Springfield as the state fair is going on. The governor's office presents hometown awards, and the city of Joliet was nominated for a governor's hometown award. Specifically, the Joliet Fire Department for their community risk reduction project was nominated, and we're one of 4 finalists for the governor's hometown award. So team's going down, and a presentation will be made tomorrow, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and then they're going to announce the winner at 4 o'clock. So cross your fingers and wish the team good luck as they make the presentation to the Illinois Service Commission. But again, commendations to the fire department and to Chief Carey for the work they've done on that program. And to the point now, we're getting recognition at the state level for that work. So good job.
Who's on the team?
Yeah. Chief, you're presenting.
Yeah, tomorrow it's gonna be myself and Community Risk Reduction Chief John Cook from the Will Groening Medical Clinic, will be Latrivia McLean, the social worker, and Sean Marconi, the director, and Kristen Munico, our housing finance director.
Oh, we can't lose then.
That's all I had, Mayor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is new business, not for final action or recommendation.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I brought up a few weeks ago about the city of Joliet being proactive in reference to having food and water on hand in case there was a incident or tragedy. This by no means is to take the place of the Red Cross or FEMA or anything like that. I'm looking to see if we can start the conversation going and have Greg Blasky on board and have all the council and the public weigh in on what we think we should do. But I think as a city, we need to be proactive in case something ever happens, that we can help in an hour or two before the Red Cross or FEMA can get on board. And I don't have all the answers, but I think we get the conversation going and maybe move this to public safety. We could start that process and maybe come up with some sort of plan.
Thank you.
Yeah, quickly, from earlier this evening, Todd, and I didn't call you Brad. Todd, if you could, and I think we had some discussion and we have some questions from some council members up there about generally the Inspector General, actually the auditor, as required by state law. When we first brought an Inspector General on, it was prior to the state creating that law, so that was just a choice back in 2015 or 16. But now we are required. If you can put that together as a presentation for one of the meetings and exactly what's required, how much, there's some question of whether we, have enough oversight, how much oversight. It's my understanding, for instance, the law requires anonymous complaints, and then whoever the inspector general is has to address those anonymous complaints and protect their anonymity. But I want to be certain, because I'm not a lawyer, and as I said earlier today, I don't play one on TV. If you could put together a presentation on what that auditor's statute requires, how much oversight we have, just the whole 9 yards, if you will.
All right, I can check on that.
All right, thank you. That's all I have.
I'd like to say, can I? Sorry. I'd like to say good luck to the Joliet Fire Department risk reduction. I might just be there watching tomorrow. I had planned the day in Springfield. I wanted to tell everyone how busy we are. Me and the mayor were at the Warren Sharp Community Center Garden Open House. It was just fantastic. They have an amazing garden there, and they give out all of their fresh fruits once a week to the neighborhood, including greens and turnips and all of the things that neighborhood loves. Also, me, the mayor, Cesar Cardenas, Cesar Guerrero, we're at Joliet Unity Movement Kids Day at Noel Park Community Center. It was, the park, it was just beautiful. So many kids, some of us got on stage and danced. I'm not gonna say who. Also, St. Joe's INA Nurses Informational Picket, and I see that they're here tonight and they have some information. St. Pat's Neighborhood Council, 100 days in office, and I cannot tell you, almost everyone on this council has been just amazing. I work with some really brilliant people, and I am so blessed. And I'll just say one thing, I appreciate all of you, but when I first got here, I remember Councilman Clement kept talking about sidewalks the first few weeks. I'm like, I don't know what he's talking about sidewalks. Guess what? 90% of all the emails I got are about sidewalks. So thank you very much for being tenacious with that. I want to thank Councilwoman Quillman for being amazing to me, Councilwoman Reardon, everyone on here is just over the top amazing, and Mayor Darcy, thank you so much. Thank you. That's it.
Thank you. This is new business, right? Okay.
I think we're gonna combine them.
Combine them?
I mean,
Okay. All right, as long as we're
let's call it a
combining them, first of all, Jim Torrey, I would like to thank you for doing that research for me that I had asked you to do last night. So that was good, very well appreciated and very informative. And I missed you guys on the radio. I heard the radio the other day, so I ran over to St. Joe's Hospital to support the nurses, and I bought lots of chocolate chip cookies. And it just so happened that my neighbors, one neighbor was taken to the hospital, okay, and he's been in the hospital, and then she came home to feed the dog, fell, broke her pelvis. So I went to the hospital with her. Now, they're scheduled to come home tomorrow and Saturday, but they have been raving, even though you guys are short and it's just been tiring and overworked, they can't say enough good things about the care they've been getting at St. Joe's. So bravo to the nurses that keep carrying on, even though it's tough. I know, it's tough. So I hope St. Joe's gets their act together and get in gear here, because we need St. Joe's, we need to stay here in Joliet, and we need safety at the hospital, and our nurses need to be paid very, very well. And I'm gonna put that out there. So, thank you guys. I know it was a lot. And now I'm on baby watch because my niece is about to have a baby here any day, so. That's why all the messages. So that's all I have to say. Everybody have a good weekend, stay safe and be well.
I guess I'll do council comments now too. I do want to say that I support you. My mother has been sick since June 29th in the hospital for much of it, and infusions daily since then, and going on for another couple weeks. And every single one of the nurses that we encountered was wonderful, so caring, so loving. She felt so confident, and we still feel so confident every day we go to the infusion center, and we can't thank them enough. So I support you completely.
Mayor, I forgot, most important, Joliet Fire Department. They can't say enough good things about when they came to take them to the hospital, and everybody was so nice and kind, because I was there with her for 3 hours till they put her in a room. And one of the new paramedics, was in the ER. I have to tell you this, I'm gonna blow it if he's watching. He's a newbie, Mr. Officer Robles with the fire department. Anyway, he had a hard time moving, and they weren't moving her properly, and the guys knew how to move her sitting up, because that's the way her pelvis was with the broken. So I saw them, I said, could you guys help us for just a minute? They had no idea who I was. I had a baseball cap and a ponytail, so I was just somebody there with a friend asking for some help. And they came right over when they were done with their patient and helped move her, and it was just a blessing. So, you know, I can't say enough about our fire department as well, our police department, but they were just so kind to have to do that for us, and they were greatly appreciative. So you live in a great city with good police and good firemen and good nurses, so let's keep it up. I'll stop.
Thank you.
Mayor, if I might add, I think if it's okay with council and mayor, we'll work with the city clerk's office just to clarify titles on the agenda so we don't have that confusion of new business and mayor council comments, so.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I seem to confuse everything, but I'm trying my best to keep things flowing the right way. So I guess it's my turn to comment. I don't have any new business. What I do have is a feeling of a lot of positivity in our community. As Councilwoman Ibarra mentioned, we had some really good opportunities to meet with some things that are going on in our neighborhoods, the 815 program and the garden, the Cornerstone Services Wellness opening. That's a fantastic facility. We've had meetings with Congresswoman Underwood. She's our new Congresswoman, and she wants to help. She wants to join with us to help do things to make our community better. There are a few community meetings coming up in the future. We've got one on August 23rd, hosted by Tomorrow Starts Today at the St. Mark's Church. There's also a community family reunion, August 26th, from noon to 5 at DeVrando Park. So, you know, we're still a really vibrant community. I do want to applaud our fire department and all of our leadership, our first responders. You know, we have initiated a community cares program, CCP. I know there's City Center Partnership. I call them the small letters, we're the big letters. And we've been meeting with community folks and talking about how we can work together, collaborate to make our community much better for all of us. And it's been a really fun journey to get this started. I know it's going to start rolling along pretty good. I do applaud the fire department. I know you're going to come home in winter, so we'll just tell you great work and thank you so much. The one thing that really hurts me and pains me is the way that Ascension has turned our hospital into an economic agenda. We've got a group of ladies here that have nothing but passion to help our community. They've given their lives to our community. I've been in that hospital, my family's been in there many, many times, and the service has always been great, the people care. And I've tried my best to do what I can to get Ascension to join us and make sure that we can treat them fairly, make everything market rate like we should, and it seems like they just want to fight. And I hate to say it, but it's just the wrong thing to do. And we applaud the passion you have and the help you give and the care you give, and we support you. And we want this to end peacefully. We want, you know, there's 7 more nights. They're talking about a lockout, 8/22. We've got 7 nights. I've been involved in negotiations with over 200,000 machinists in a couple different times. And we worked hard. We never had a strike. Over the 8 years, we had 2 4-year contracts. Never had a strike. So I just don't understand why they would take this time when it's so valuable. Tonight we should be talking. Tomorrow night we should get this resolved. So we applaud you and we're with you. Thank you.
Next is public comments. Pat Mead.
I don't come alone, I come united in solidarity for our community. And I'm going to have the spokesperson come up and she has something to say. And we'll go from there. Thank you for Mayor and the council for allowing us the opportunity to speak.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for taking the time to let us come up here and speak. Yes, we are the nurses at St. Joe's. We appreciate all your guys' help and support. I know I've seen a lot of your guys' faces at our anniversary party, at our informational pickets. I thank you for speaking with those that you have to try to get a peaceful resolution. Unfortunately, we are gonna be taking that strike on 8/22. Unfortunately, we're gonna be locked out until 8/26, when we only asked for a 2-day strike. Today, we were supposed to be in negotiations. I think we all found it extremely disheartening that the morning after we announced we were going on strike, after seeing no movement at the table for weeks, they canceled our only other negotiation session for the month. And on top of that, stated that they will not meet us until the second week in September. We have asked repeatedly, not just for wages, but staff. That hospital is missing 350 nurses. We asked for a verbal written commitment for in the next 12 months for those to get those missing nurses. Nothing has been done. I saw in a matter of 48 hours, they get those nurses. Each one of those nurses is gonna get at least $7,000 for the 4 days that they're there. They're gonna get meals, they're gonna get travel, they're gonna get lodging. They're gonna be at our hospital. We're gonna be outside locked out with no money. Those people, our patients that we care about, are gonna be in there with people who don't know how to take care of them, who are not familiar with our system. I know you personally have medical background. We had an agency nurse a couple weeks back who was running a blood transfusion. For those that don't know, blood is only supposed to be given with blood, normal saline. This nurse was running blood with antibiotics.
Oh, God.
It's a universal protocol that you don't do that. It was an agency nurse. The nurse's response was this was a new Ascension policy. You could do this now. These are the people that are going to be inside my house while I'm out fighting for my family inside the house. It's unacceptable. I graciously ask each and every one of you to use your resources to the fullest power and help us, help this community, because it's just not right. It's not right for me. It's not right for my husband, who I've taken to that ER on Christmas Eve. It's not right to my son, who I've taken to that ER multiple times. It's not nice for anyone who's been there. And it's the only hospital in Joliet. The people need to go there. We need nurses there. And nurses are gonna come when they're paid for all their hard work, and that's not happening. And I don't see how it's gonna work. The hospital is currently a non-for-profit hospital, and I don't understand, with all of the illegal activity that's going on, how they're able to remain in that status. So I would ask you, if you guys are able to look into that, or ask your colleagues or your resources how they're able to keep that would be wonderful. And I appreciate your guys' time again and your support. It means a lot to us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Does anyone else would like to say something? Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
It's so sad. I've been there for almost 12 years now, and it looks like things are getting worse and worse. And I believe that because, like one of you said, that it is becoming more of a corporate thing than a healthcare thing. So they don't see it as how we see it. They see it as a money-making thing, and them reimbursing us for what we are doing is not in the picture at all. I'm saying this because it feels like they're bringing in agency nurses, and I'm not sure what the government does with that, if they are being incentivized for bringing them in. Like she said, $7,000 for 4 days. I don't get $7,000 for even a month, but they can afford that for the next 4 days that we are going to be locked out. So I'm not sure, again, if they are being incentivized for using agencies than rather using us who have been loyal for all these years. So if you guys can put your resources together and your power together to stand in for us, we will appreciate that.
I've been at St. Joe's for 28 years. I work in the labor and delivery department. Labor and delivery has always been a hard position to get because it's a very sought after position. We are currently so understaffed and have so many holes in our schedule. We do get some agency help here and there, but the hospital has said they don't care how much money they spend on agency. They're not bringing the prices up to hire staff, so I can't get regular staff to fill my unit, and it's happening throughout the house. Money is no object when it comes to agency help. But when it comes to your loyal nurses who are there every day, they will not pay.
I'm not supposed to speak, but I will. Like I said, I know I'm not supposed to speak, but I will. You know me. You all know me. Yeah. I just want to bring it home. And that when I say home, St. Joe's is our home. My mother's first black nurse at St. Joe's when it was on Broadway. She's the first black nurse manager. She actually built that LDRP, worked with this young nerdy lady here, worked with my mom. I've been a nurse there for 35 years. My sister was a nurse assistant then. She now is at Christ as a nurse. My sister is a doctor. She teaches pediatric medicine at Loyola and Stritch. So we are a family. And you can talk to any of these nurses. Their mothers, their uncles, their brothers, their children now work there. This is our Joliet family. That's why it means so much to us, because we are taking care of each other on a family level. This is not just a job, it's a profession that we're proud of. And we show that every day that we walk through the doors and care for our patients, as you've all said. So I just want to say again, we thank you so much for even listening and allowing us to come before you and to ask for your support. We want to go home. We want to be home. We want you, when you get sick, you're coming home to us, the nurses who are the people of Joliet. We live here. We care about Joliet. We care about our community. So thank you so much for listening to our nurses and accepting to come over and say what they needed to say to try to get this done. We want to be inside taking care of our patients. Thank you.
Thank you all for what you do for us. We really appreciate it. We'll do what we can to help.
Don't give up, keep going.
Anyone else that would like to speak under public comments this evening?
Hello, everyone. My name is Dominique. I'm a resident at Riverwalk Homes. I have an issue. Excuse me, I'm a little nervous, but I have an issue where I have mold in my home. I have 5 children who have allergies, and so do I. We also been in and out the hospital not knowing what's going on, and it just started appearing, the mold. I have reached out to everyone I'm supposed to, the city inspection, and no one has really taken the steps to really get back to me and settle this thing. And now me and my children are out of our home where we are comfortable. We have to be in someone else's home, and they're not comfortable there. So I just need help because they're not really doing what they're supposed to do. They were supposed to take down a wall and put new walling back up, but all they did was paint over it. Now, we're being sick, and that's not good. You know, mold is not good. Black mold, I have the pictures of it. When they come and wipe it down, it comes back. And so I'm just trying to see what I can do so me and my kids can live comfortable, because just because we're in the public housing, HUD, we shouldn't have to go through that. We should be able to be comfortable, but I feel like it is being swept under the rug, and I don't know what else to do at this point. So, yeah.
Thanks for bringing that to our attention.
Mayor?
So,
could you meet with her?
Yeah.
After the meeting? Okay. He's from the community development, which includes inspections.
Okay.
He's one of the management staff, so maybe they can help you out, man.
Okay, yeah, because I had an inspector come out, but they said that it wasn't anything like no mold. And I had actually a mold company come out, and they declared that it was mold, which had them do it. Now, I had this happen to me 3 times since I've been living there. My sewer come up in my home. I have pictures of that, ruin my stuff. I'm already in a predicament that I'm barely making it. So it's it's constantly 3 years in a row with this same problem.
So maybe you can exchange information from the professional company you used with the department, and we can communicate with them, correct?
Yeah, I will get them in touch with them.
If that helps you at all?
Yeah.
Okay.
maybe you can
Thank you, Mayor.
get with Holston, Rodney.
We will.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
You know, don't forget to leave your name and address with Mr. Torrey
Yes,
before you
meet
leave.
after the meeting.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak under public comments? I there any other additional comments from you guys?
No. we're
Oh,
fine.
I did.
Mayor, I'd like to speak.
No, you can't speak now. You had your.
Public comment, can't speak?
Well, we got them all mixed up, I'm sorry.
I'd like to tell one of our staff members, Pauline G. Ames, Deputy City Clerk, happy birthday.
Oh, happy
Happy
birthday.
birthday. Happy birthday. I have one more thing. I see that Kathy Franson's here tonight, so maybe she can give us an update on the applicants.
That'd be great.
So, you're on, Kathy.
Just a brief update, a couple of updates. So the search for the city manager, that's currently with Corn Ferry. I have status updates with them every other week. And the last update, they provided information that there were 26 applicants that they received from LinkedIn. 8 people applied directly through email. They have completed, Corn Ferry has completed an initial 6 interviews, and they are also approaching an additional 53 candidates who have not directly applied yet. So they're being a bit more aggressive, reaching out to people that they feel would be a good fit for this role here in the city. They are specifically now targeting communities with at least 75,000 residents. They're standing with candidates, approaching candidates that have either prior city manager or assistant slash deputy city manager experience. Their responses, they say, have been mostly positive, and the candidates that they have reached out to who are not interested in continuing discussions state relocation, current contracts that they have, or just the simple fact that they're going to stay with their current roles. They're not interested in making a move at this time. So Corn Ferry is going to continue to approach candidates while they're interviewing applicants that came in to their offices. I have another status update next week. My goal is to start charting these candidates that they forward. I'm going to ask them to start forwarding information, and so that I can pass that information along to the council to begin reviewing and considering candidates. So that's the Joliet City Manager search status. And then just a brief status on Corporation Council position. So we have placed this position in various associations, Will County Bar, Illinois County Management, Illinois State Bar, and we did receive one application for it. We have removed the council-approved salary range to hopefully receive, some more candidates. Sometimes with starting salaries, there's a little bit of misunderstanding by candidates, and we want to make sure that that's removed. We will work within the council-approved salary range, depending on qualification and experience. The current position is, I'm sure you've seen it on the website, on our billboards, on our Facebook, Illinois County Management Association, Wisconsin County Management Association. Again, it's spread, and I'm remaining hopeful that some potential candidates, more potential candidates, understand the desire for us to fill this role with the appropriate person, that they're out there and they'll apply. So we continue to do work with this. We're trying to reach out as much as we can. I'm open to suggestions. If anyone has them, please share them. But we will continue to do work with this role and hopefully find that person that will fill this role successfully. Any questions?
Is there a timeline that you expect that we'll have, like, maybe, the top 5?
Are Are you talking about the city manager or the corporation?
Talking about both of them.
Both of them. The city manager, yeah, my next, check-in with Corn Ferry is scheduled for next week. And at that time, I would like to ask them to begin forwarding me. I don't have any of that information yet, but I'm going to ask them to begin forwarding me, information on the current candidates so that I can begin to chart those and share them with the council. And you can begin considering those candidates. So I'd like to get that done within the next 2-3 weeks.
Thank you.
Corporation council is a little more of an unknown. Again, we'll continue to place this as much as we can in those websites and associations that we feel would draw the most appropriate candidates for the position. And we do keep things on a premium schedule so that they maintain the high level visibility within their websites. And we'll just continue to keep it fresh as much as we can.
Thank you.
Could you give us an idea, maybe not tonight, but what do other cities, 100,000 and up, pay in that corporate counsel position? I'm not so sure that DOQ is gonna hook anybody into this position. And I know we talked about putting a range on there, and you originally had 124,000, which isn't gonna hook anybody. So I think we need to get a little bit more aggressive in what we're gonna do to try and produce some candidates for this position. And I myself am not a fan of DOQ. I don't think that tells me anything, and I'd sure like to know what other communities are doing. Thank you.
Sure, I can do that. We just, as a side note, we initially posted as starting at the starting range, and we do have to work within the range that is approved by council. So we are restricted based on what the salary range is per ordinance for this role. But I can do some more work and investigation into what some of the other cities are paying for those positions, of course.
If I was looking at that, and your first ad had us at starting at 124,000 with no top range, we have more people in that part of our community, that in our city, that make more. So I'm just confused on why we would just do that. So I really think we need to get more aggressive on how we approach trying to get somebody to look at our ad. Thank you.
So if you're asked for a higher salary, we have to pass an ordinance, it has to go to legislative.
Well, but we have a higher salary range. We had 124,000 with no top range.
Okay.
So I think we need to put a range out there.
Was that starting though? I mean.
It was starting at 124, but it doesn't seem like
I
you're gonna get
understand.
anybody to bite the hook on that one. Right, Master Fisherwoman?
It's Master Angler, thank you.
Let's see, well, that'd be MA, so we'll call you Ma.
I'm that too.
That's all.
Any additional comments?
Just that you can use AI technology if you have it, and it can just type up a brilliant Dateline type compelling story, sorry for the reference, to get people here. Just the most fantastical, bright, shining description from AI, and I'm not exaggerating. I've done it and I've seen it. It's amazing. So that's just a little suggestion we might try. Yeah.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Motion seconded to adjourn, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.